Okay, in the previous video we saw the behavior of a publisher and employees relationship and how they behave when the foreign key is not enabled on the employees table. So this time I will click the load data. Now the data is loaded into publisher's data grid view and employees data grid view. There is no foreign key constraint on the pub ID column of the employees table. Now I will place a tick mark here. That means when I place the tick mark in the code, we actually take the data table from the data set. Then we will take the constraints collection, and from the constraint collection we add a foreign key constraint. So while we are adding the foreign key constraint, we provide pub ID as the foreign key and pub ID in the publisher table as the referred key. So here pub ID is referred and pub ID in the employees is the referring one. So this will establish a relation. So I'll repeat again. The pub ID in the employees data table is the referring column, and pub ID in the publisher table is the referred one. So this is done dynamically. So in the previous video you saw when I add a pub ID that doesn't exist here, the data grid view accepted that change. Now I will enable it and I will try the same thing here. Now if I keep 100, if you see 100 doesn't exist here at all. Now let me go ahead and add 100 and click somewhere else in the data grid. You can see an exception is thrown by the data grid view. So this is the exception, and the exception message clearly says foreign key constraint FKey pub ID. So that's the key name that I am giving while adding the constraint. So it tells foreign key constraint the constraint type as well as the name of the foreign key. So it requires child key values. So this child key doesn't exist in the parent table. That's what the message is saying. So we are trying to add 100, and that 100 doesn't exist in the parent. Since it doesn't exist, there is an integrity violation, and that's why the exception is got. So let me click OK. And if we try to add the existing one, say for example 1736, sorry, 0736, and if I click outside the grid, I mean somewhere else in the grid, it will be accepted. If you see, this row is accepted now. All right, now let me go ahead and disable the foreign key here, and let me add same 100. So now this tells how you can remove the foreign key dynamically. So once the foreign key is removed, the 100 is accepted. So once you place the tick mark, the foreign key is enabled on the pub ID, and if I remove the tick mark, the key is disabled on this. So what happens if I try to enable now? So if I try to enable now, the AdoNet framework checks whether there is any integrity violation. So the check files, so because there is an integrity violation, and enabling the key will fail, and it throws an exception, and the exception will be caught in the catch block. So I'll try doing that. And if you see, since the message is caught on the catch block, we are displaying the exception message here. So it says all this constraint cannot be enabled as not all values have corresponding parent value. So it's a generic exception. It says that all value, that means the violating one is this, the last row that we are trying to add. So that's what this message is saying. So if I go ahead and change it to some existing one, 0877, and if I try enable it, this will enable. Let me go ahead and accept that change. After that, I'll try enabling it. This will get enabled. So that's all on this video. Here I shown the constraint violations. Also, I have shown it's possible in AdoNet that you can dynamically add or remove a foreign key constraint from the data grid view. So next we will see what is the cascading effect that I will show in the next video.